What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Your boy Dread is back with another movie review, and I'm here to review the movie Logan. Wow. Now, I went to go see the midnight release for this movie, and of course, with the last two solo Wolverine movies, a lot of people's expectations were low. But, of course, I'm very lenient when it comes to my superhero movies. I like to give every last one of them a chance, no matter how the last two, might have been received. And if you guys seen X-Men Apocalypse, they make a little fourth wall break and a little reference to how in a trilogy the third movie is always the worst. That's not the case with Logan at all. This is not the case. This is, out of the original Wolverine trilogy, Logan is probably the best movie out of the trilogy. Not even probably. It is. It kicks the other two movies' asses. Matter of fact, in the X-Men Marvel Cinematic Universe, this probably ranks the top three movies in the X-Men Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the other two being X2 and X-Men Days of Future Past. Yeah. Shoot, you might even be able to rank Logan as number one out of the X-Men Marvel Universe. But anyway, oh yeah, before I really get into the review, for people who have not seen the movie yet, and most of you will more than likely see this movie before you see this review, there's no post-credit scene. But there is a cameo from another beloved Marvel character. And I'm going to leave it at that. Oh yeah, now for future reference, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the title. Minor spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything major. Of course, you guys know how I do on movie reviews. Don't give away any key plot points. Don't give away any endings. Don't give away who lives, who dies, the whole nine. I don't really give away any of that. Basically, I don't give away anything past the first hour of the movie. But yeah, the overall plot of the movie is the movie takes place in the year 2029 when the majority of mutants on the planet are extinct. They're all dying out because it turns out that the mutant gene was a weak gene anyway. And the last couple of surviving mutants are Professor X, who's like in his 90s now, who's pretty much pushing 100 years old, and Wolverine, aka James Howlett, aka Logan. He's, I think, in Wolverine's original bio, I think he was born in like the mid 1800s, so that will put him at about 140, 150 years old in this timeline. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, he's very, very old, and his healing factor isn't working the way it used to. And I mean, you see that. I mean, he's pretty much about to throw in the towel. He pretty much just wants to see his old age off. He pretty much just wants to make ends meet and then just pretty much just die. It's sad but true. But like the overall grit and the tone and the cinematography, I mean, like everything, like it sets the tone for how dark this movie is. It really does. If I mean, I know superhero movies are it's made to be fiction, it's made to be far fetched, but I mean, it's not really that many superheroes that can be true to life. But this will probably be as close to real life as a superhero movie will get. Matter of fact, you can't even really count this as a superhero movie. This is a drama with superhero movie elements. That's pretty much the best way that you could describe this movie. The acting in it is, of course, brilliant. And, of course, you have the new, one of the newer elements who I hope we see more in the X-Men Marvel Universe. Laura, or everybody knows by now, the little girl who plays X-23, who was pretty much a failed mutant experiment. Well, she wasn't a failed mutant experiment. She was actually one of the ones who was successful because she was a Wolverine clone. But yeah, she gets introduced maybe 30 minutes into the movie, somewhere in that area. The villains in the movie, I mean, like, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. The villains in the movie, well, there's one villain who was kind of a surprise villain, and like I said, I'll maybe get to that if I do a spoiler review. But the surprise villain shows up probably 3/4 of the way during the movie. But yeah, the two main villains, I mean, they are average to me. You see what their motive is. Could the movie? I mean, because the movie kind of could have been done without one of the villains. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because if you break this movie down in three parts, the first villain, the guy with the metal arm, he's pretty essential to the movie, and then the other two villains who are introduced in the second and third half of the movie. Well, in the third half, but in the second and third parts of the movie, you can kind of do without them. But then again, like that third villain, you he's probably actually essential because he probably is what makes the climax of the movie. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But X-23, wow, she does have a future in the X-Men Marvel universe if they really do decide to go that route with her. And if they decide to cast an older person, like if they decide to do like a time travel or time loop kind of thing in the X-Men Marvel Cinematic Universe, that would be a great thing to do. But I think she has a future in X-Men's Marvel Universe. Now, what we all came to see and what everybody came to expect out of that movie, and pretty much the whole motive of this movie getting R rating. Of course, you're gonna get language and stuff like that. I mean, normally I don't really complain about language, but I mean, it seems like a lot of the I mean, come on, they just go out of the gate with F bombs in this movie. But yeah, it wasn't really needed. But hey, some of it was funny. But the violence. If you don't come for anything in a Wolverine movie, of course you come for the violence. There's plenty of dismemberment. There's blood. There's gore. There's skulls being pierced. There's limbs and bones being broken. There's throats being slashed. You get all. I mean, like you get your. If you want violence in this movie, you get all the violence you want and then some. It delivers as far as being the graphic and the blood, the gore that everybody's been asking for a Wolverine movie. Oh no, you don't want to just see somebody get skewered by Wolverine's claws. Oh no, you want to see organs, you want to see tissue being disrupted, you want to see flesh being torn. That's what you want to see, and best believe you get that without a doubt. But like I said, besides the violence, that's not what really made the movie. It's like the character development, the tone, and the acting, and the story is what made the movie. But was there any flaws in the movie? Like, is there any glaring flaws? I mean, it didn't really have any major flaws. Nothing stand out to make you say. I mean, there's nothing really that you can say about this movie that's bad about it without nitpicking. There's a couple of little nitpicky things in there, but I mean, it's nothing that'll make the movie unwatchable. But overall, this movie was fantastic. It's rare that I would say this about a superhero movie, but like I said, this isn't really a superhero movie. It's more of a drama movie with superhero elements. For this movie, I mean, as far as the story, I would give it a perfect 10 because that is the key element to this, more so than the action. And you don't really see that in superhero movies. The action, I would give it a 9. There's a couple of funny moments, but comedy, I'll give that maybe a 7 out of 10. Let's see. The acting, I'll give it a perfect 10. I mean, because this movie has a lot of drama. And while this was, I mean, I'm going to throw an X-Men Origins Wolverine reference in this movie. I mean, and Wolverine even references this in this movie himself, because if you guys knew that the guy Maverick in X-Men Origins Wolverine, when right before Wolverine kills him, he says, "It's funny how innocent people tend to die around you." And in every single Wolverine movie, that's a constant theme, and that's something that Wolverine struggles with in this movie too. It seems like he says, "Well, every time I have feelings for somebody, or every time I get close to somebody, people die," and that's a theme in every last X-Men movie that Wolverine is in, and like that really does drive this one home. So the acting, 10. The special effects, I'll give it a 9. The action and fight scenes, I'll give that a 9. The comedy, I'll give it a 7. The overall story, probably give it a 9.5 to 10. Basically, my overall rating for this movie, you are mentally ill if you give this movie anything below a 9. But I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. Well, anyway, that's my movie review. Let me comment, let me know what you think of it, and I'll be back with another movie review soon. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.